passe. Super, l'artiste. Super, encore un but sensationnel. That's a brilliant bit of follow-up play by Mahe. Oh my goodness me, what a shot.
Sagosen setter det hen! Han setter den! De er i semifinale igjen!
Hello everyone, welcome to the Uninformed Handball Hour. It's Chris O'Reilly here with you, and another summer episode. It's the Uninformed Beach Handball Hour for this episode as we dive in to the state of the sport in beach handball. I had a chance to attend and commentate at the Beach Handball Euro a couple of weeks ago in Türkiye, coming back last week, and had a fantastic time. Brilliant tournament, and as always, the community aspect of it so strong. And despite the melting temperatures, had a chance to speak to some really interesting people. What I wanted to do here was get an array of voices from the tournament, people at different levels of the competition, different experiences of the competition, and just to get kind of the state of the sport as it is right now. Beach handball in a moment where it is becoming more and more popular, becoming more and more defined as a sport. It had the Olympic showcase last year in Paris. There are dreams of it becoming an Olympic sport in the future. But besides that, the focus on it being an elite sport in its own right, very much at the forefront of a lot of people's mind. So some of the focus I had in conversations with people, but also talking about the event itself in Türkiye, and the four people you'll hear from in this episode. In this order will be Severin Henrich from Team Germany, gold medal winners for the first time. He played an outstanding role in the whole tournament in the heart of the German defense, and particularly in the final as well, where he also stepped up into the attack. We'll speak to him first. Then Labrina Tsakalou, a name for those of you who may not know beach handball would still know pretty well. A Champions League player back in the day with teams like Podravka and Krim. Labrina now back in her home country of Greece after suffering some horrible injury problems over the last few years. She's battled through those, playing indoor handball again and returning to the beach national team after over a decade away. So fantastic to get her perspective on how much the sport has changed. Also, Liam Harrison, a debutant with Malta at the championship, one of the brand new teams. We had part of the chat with him in the morning club a couple of weeks ago, but the full interview with him, and a second part of the interview with Gabriella Horvath, who we also had in the morning club a couple of weeks ago. We promised the second half of that interview, that chat, a little bit more about the overall sport as it is right now and what she hopes for the future of it on a European level and the sport as a whole. Four very different voices. So I think we'll dive in there, beginning with Severin. Severin Henrich, you're really welcome to the podcast. Great to have you join us just a couple of days after winning your first European Championship. Has it sunk in now? It's only been a day since you got back home. You're already thinking about the next event with Germany, but have you had a chance to actually, look at your medal?
Hello, first of all, and thank you for having me. And I don't know if it has sunken in already. I definitely had a look at the medal more than once, and it helps to kind of realize it more step by step. But it's still not that real yet.
Yeah, I can imagine. It was a fantastic week in total. The tournament itself, interesting to get your perspective on it, because it ended up being quite a long event, 6 days. The matches only one or two every single day, but very special conditions as well with the temperature and everything. How do you look back in the whole event?
I think all in all, it was a good event. It was well organized, and it was because of the heat. We only played early in the morning and late or later in the afternoon, so there was quite a big pause every day between the matches. I mean, one match we had at 8:30, so that's not the time you want to have a match, and to get up and to have breakfast at 6:30. But well, the heat in the middle of the day, it wasn't bearable, so that was the only good solution, I think. Well, yeah, the circumstances from this perspective were new, and in the evening on the first day, I remember it was very humid, and we didn't. I don't think we have ever not caught so many balls in one in one game. The time we had for recovery was important too, I think, and to have, I think, in the end, 3 days with only one match. It's not normal for beach handball, but I think it helped the quality of the games and the athletes to recover more and more. Yeah, so for me, it was good.
Yeah, I mean, when it's you're used to when you're playing in the EBT tournaments or in the German tour, it's like 3 or 4 matches every day, and it's a lot, but it's something that you get used to. How tricky was it to get yourselves like at your peak then, particularly in the quarterfinals, semifinals, final, for literally 20 minutes of action? I mean, overall it would last to maybe an hour, but it's a lot of build up for such a short amount of time. Was that part of the mental aspect that you had to prepare for as well?
Yes, that's definitely it was a challenge because beach handball is only it's only 20 minutes, like you said, and that short period of time you really have to deliver. And so we had quite a good routine, I think, especially for the days where we only had one match. So we could, especially on the semifinal and final, we could sleep in a little bit until 9 or have breakfast at 9:30, and then we did a little activation at like 11 or 10:30, and afterwards we played some cards, went to physio, had lunch, and then everybody went to sleep for
Yeah.
for an hour, and that was really really important too. I think I had a nap every day. If we had 1 or 2 matches, didn't matter. At some point, we had to get up, so like latest 3 hours before the game, and we always played cards. We played Uno with some special rules, so that made it quite action with more action, and you had to be there in the end and be fast and quick, and a coffee. And when the time came to go to the courts, everybody was ready.
And let's talk a little bit about the semi-finals and finals, because there were incredible days. I mean, particularly on the men's side, both semi-finals going to a shootout. On the final day, all the medal games went to a shootout as well, which meant a good 5 hours nonstop for me talking. But for you guys in the final and the semi-final, like, it really highlighted the fine margins between, first of all these teams at the top, like how close you all are to each other, and like what the small differences were in the end between winning a gold medal or potentially finishing in 4th place. What do you remember about those games, and like what the decisive factors were in the semi-final and final?
For me personally, both games were kind of similar.
Yeah.
And for the team as well. We didn't play the best first sets. Both we lost both, but came back in the second set to win it and then go on to win the shootout. And for me personally, in both sets, I had a really quick first suspension after 3-4 minutes, both, I think, and that. I mean, if you have one that early, it kind of affects your game, even if you don't want it, because you're more careful and maybe don't go into the last step with 100%. But in both games, at the beginning of the second match, so if I sit outside and cannot help, or I'm here and I'm not playing 100%, doesn't matter. So just go full speed, and it worked out. And in the shootouts, it was really intense. It's always luck. Shootout has a big part of shootout is luck, and of course experience. Yeah, I mean, the sand, as you can see in the last shot, it's random, and the sand makes it difficult. But I'm really proud that And yeah, happy and lucky that we managed to win both shootouts, especially against an experienced team like the Croatians. It's really hard to
Oh,
beat
yeah.
them.
And you had already in the main round facing up against Croatia and Denmark, quite a journey to get there. Talk to me about that second set in the final where you turned into all action, Severin. You were, I think I said it during the game as well. You know, you went into the attack, scored twice straight away. You got a steal, you got a block. You did a little bit of everything in both attack and in defense. I wondered at the time, well, you know, if there was ever a time for someone to play at both ends, it may as well be the last 10 minutes of a game and in the final. So I mean, what was that decision making like for the staff, and or was it something that was kind of a backup plan?
It was kind of a backup plan. We trained a little bit before with me going into attack as well. I mean, Timo Günther, who was the first line player, he was playing an incredible tournament too, but fortunately he missed a few shots at the end of this first set. So I think that's why Martin wanted to do a change and put me in, and yeah, that worked quite well. Two fast goals at the beginning, but yeah, it's really exhausting. So after 3 minutes, I needed a little break too. But then I think I came back in to the both ends. But yeah, it's like you said, there's no better time or to do to run up and down than the last 10 minutes of a tournament. And then you have the body still finds some fuel somewhere for for the last minutes. Yeah.
And I think it was super impressive also from Timo to come back in for the shootout as well and to score like he did, having missed. And you know, you mentioned earlier the sand. I mean, both shots he missed in the first set bounced off the sand and over the crossbar, which is, you know, something you just can't really account for. But I mean, for the entire team, the way you navigated the tournament was super impressive. After, I guess, you know, 2 years ago at the European Championship, a lot of the guys were still around from then, where you got to the final. I think a little bit surprisingly for the outside world, there was a disappointment in that final and just missing out on the medal at the World Championship as well. Was the expectation heading into this tournament to win the gold?
I don't think it was an expectation. I think everybody dreamed of it, as at least I did, and it was of course the goal. But I don't think it was a realistic expectation. Because I mean, last year we played a really good tournament at the World Championships, but like you said, we missed out on a medal. At really, I mean, you can. It was disappointing. Fourth place is not that fun, and but we had some changes like Matthew and Lauro, both key players from the World Cup, couldn't be there this time, and. Another player who could have had a key role. Leonard Werman, he injured himself like 5 days before we flew to Turkey, so it wasn't the best signs in going into the tournament. So it was a bit surprisingly probably. But we got into the tournament and played better each game, and kind of reached the flow state. And and we it went right.
Sure did. I mean, it's been an incredible rise in Germany's fortunes in the last few years in beach handball. I mean, it was set by the women's team, winning the previous 2 titles and winning the World Championships as well. Your youth men's team also winning the gold in Turkey. I mean, it really feels like over the last few years that beach handball in Germany has been taken to a whole other level. What was your experience kind of coming into the sport and going through the system of becoming a national team player? Like, when was your first kind of contact with it as a young player?
That was back in 2019, actually under Martin Franke too, in the under 17 youth team. We played the youth championship in Poland back then, and then afterwards, I mean, then COVID, then there was COVID, so it was a bit more difficult. but the championship in Varna in 21 was my first senior championship. And well, then I had an injury that took me out 8 months. So in 22 I didn't play much beach handball. And then 23 in Nazaré it started.
Yeah.
And I think from Varna, when our women team won the first gold medal, and afterwards they didn't stop winning, and they had a really big impact on beach handball in Germany. So they paved the way more or less, and in the federation too. And now it was finally time for us to step up too and to follow their path and win something too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like this. You're kind of part of this maybe first generation of players who has actually gone through the whole youth system and or under 17 team and been playing a few years at senior level, because probably even in around 2019, the national teams for the most part were guys and girls who were playing handball, and then they would play beach handball on top of that as kind of like a summer thing. I also think back in 2017, the German Handball Federation had some kind of idea that you had to be playing a certain level of indoor handball in order to play for the national team. And so now you're starting to get these native beach handball players coming through, also in countries like Spain, Germany, and Sweden as well. So does it feel like that's the motivation in Germany as well for players to actually be playing since they're teenagers to become a national team player, rather than just someone who might be a really good handball player jumping onto the sand as well?
Well, I think most of us still play indoor handball too, do both things. But there are some players who are only playing beach handball in the scene, but these are more exceptions right now. Nice. I think, that's an important point, that the kids start playing from an early age. And you can see that now in Germany too. There are clubs that have youth training from when they are in the, I don't know, F-Jugend.
Yeah.
When they're 7 years old, first time in the sand. And now in the upcoming years, I think you can see it even more when more and more talents, because just more and more people are playing it. And more and more beach clubs from Germany too have youth teams. So the level of beach handball is gonna rise in the future years, I think, even more, just because there's more competition and on a bigger level.
For sure. And you've been traveling a lot with on the EBT tour as well with 12 Monkeys. How important do you think that is as well for teams? I'm seeing even players who play for club teams quite regularly, also then just, flying off to Spain and playing with a Portuguese club. And I'm pretty sure you get a lot of offers as well to join teams at random tournaments. But I guess that is also, for a player who's rising through the ranks, quite important.
It definitely is. I'm glad that my club, the 12 Monkeys, that we are playing the EBT tour as well. So I don't need to choose any other team, because it has a big priority in with the Monkeys. And yes, we were in. We met in Camelot as last year, and that's very close to Cologne too. But sure. We were in at the EBT finals, of course, and to qualify for that, we would like to play more tournaments that are a bit farther away than the Netherlands. Yeah. But it's difficult with the schedule in the summer, because it's just so packed. Yeah. I would wish there are more weekends in the summer, so we can play more tournaments by the sea in Spain, Portugal too. Yeah. But I think it's really important, because the level is a different one, and the style of beach handball, of course, from the other teams. Each country has its own kind of style. I think you could see that at the Euros too. That sometimes worlds were colliding, like the Croatians with Duma, who was playing just very intelligent, and every decision is right at a low pace, but everything is every pass fits. Yeah. And then we have the more Portuguese team or Spanish team who are just playing very, very fast ball and with a lot of speed, a lot of velocity. And it's fun to play against each style. So that's why I think EBT tournaments are important too, to form a player or a team.
And for yourself personally, you've just swapped club, right? Because indoor handball, because you're moving to Cologne, or have you moved already to Cologne for studies?
Right now, I'm still in between homes.
Okay.
but I kind of moved there already because the first part of preseason started. But I will move there in the next weeks, and after China, after the World Games, I'll be there permanently.
Yeah. And so I mean, like with other aspects of life, playing at a high level in Germany, studying, and and beach handball is very demanding in that regard as well. You just come from a European Championship and you're preparing to go to the World Games, which is fantastic. With the EBT, you're chasing points with the monkeys, and it all happens in quite a short period. Do you have any thoughts or ideas on like where the sport will hopefully go in the years to come? I know people talk about kind of professionalism. You mentioned there are some people who focus very much on in the sporting side of things on beach handball. And I know also there's a lot of hopes for beach handball in the future as well, particularly after the Paris showcase last year at the Olympics.
I think in general, beach handball is doing right steps and it's going into a good direction, especially in Germany. We still have some work to do with the German tour to have it bigger, more accessible, and maybe to bring it into the cities that more people see it and make the sport bigger, professionalize it a bit more than it is right now, to get even more attention to it. I don't know how fast we're going to see professionals in beach handball. I think that still takes a lot of time.
Sure.
But the circumstances of the tournaments and for the players, for the teams, they have to get a bit more professional, and for that the sport has to grow on a bigger stage, like more and more people involved, like the children that are starting from an earlier age, and but of course the attention for the sport. I think we did a big step this Euros too, because it was broadcasted by Dine, the German a broadcaster that shows every Bundesliga match, and so many people who had this abonnement for Dine could just see beach handball, because there's no indoor going on right now. So I hope that really helped to the visibility.
Have you found a spike in the amount of followers now on Instagram? People writing you randomly saying they're big fans now of you?
Well, I got a bit more followers, but it's not dramatic.
And then lastly, as you mentioned, you're going over to Chengdu, right, in China for the World Games, which will be a whole other experience, being part of a multi-sport event. I mean, beach handball at these championships is always so nice with the kind of big community feeling with all the teams side by side, men and women. But I guess you must be looking forward to being a part of Team Germany in a bigger sense, a multi-sport event.
Yes, I'm very excited. I think it's going to be something that I've never seen before, obviously. In a city like Chengdu, I think over 20 million people live there.
Wow.
It's going to be fun to also talk to athletes from different sports, and the beach bubble is really, really, really nice. It's always fun at these tournaments because you know everybody, and it's kind of a big family feeling, and I think it might be interesting to have all these other sports to connect with them and see them, and I hope we are gonna be able to watch some other competitions as well. Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes. Oh, well, I hope you have a great time over there. It should be a nice, intense competition as well. And now that you got a target on your backs as European champions, so a whole other challenge, which should be quite interesting. But thanks a lot for taking the time, Severin, and good luck for your move as well to Cologne. And looking forward to seeing you in action again in a few weeks' time.
Thank you very much, and see you soon on the beach.
Labrina Tsakalou, can I still say that correctly?
Yes.
Yes?
Probably your one of the few people that call that correctly. In Greece, they call me Tsakalou.
Tsakalou.
But it's Tsakalou. But it's because of my father's name. For males, it's like different, but they are always confused with that.
Yeah. That's because I had some practice when we did some commentary together a few years ago. Not in the same place. So this is the first time we've met in person. Right? I think every other time has been online, which is crazy during the COVID years and everything like that.
Yes, you're right. We've never met, actually. Yeah. This is the first time we met in person. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. We just had the internet connection as we commentated on some beach handball. And here you are back playing after, is it 10 years or 12 years since you played in the last European Championship?
Last year, the last tournament I played was in Randers in Denmark. I don't even remember. It was for sure 10 years. Yeah. Maybe it was 2013 or later. I'm not sure. 10 plus.
There you go. And
I'm old now. I am old now.
The way I've seen you move around a little bit today at this championship, I wouldn't say you're old yet. But I remember when we talked during the commentary together and around that, we talked a lot about your injuries. A lot of people will know you as a Champions League player in indoor handball, regular handball, but you're back in Greece now and for the last few years and back on the court as well.
Yes, after a few years actually, I have some big problems with my knees. I had a lot of surgeries, and the most important now is like my cartilage is pretty much not there, and I have big arthritis problems also, and I decided that top level Champions League handball level now I cannot keep up with that trainings and all the games. I came back home at least to be with my family, and I started playing actually 1.5 years ago, and this summer I decided I wanted to give myself a chance for beach handball as well. Because I was hoping that the sand will not be so hard with my knees. I was right, I guess. I'm only like 1-2 weeks that I'm training with the team, but it's getting better. And for me, the only goal here was to help them as much as I can, anywhere, in every position I can play, and to try to qualify for the World Championship.
Oh, it's so far so good. As we're speaking, at least, you just beat Hungary in a shootout to qualify for the 5th-6th match against Denmark tomorrow. A great win against a Hungary side who, I guess, until yesterday evening, were thinking about a medal or reaching the final, and to be able to beat them in a game like this, massive, particularly in a shootout.
Yes, exactly. And for me, it was crazy. I've never been in a position like that. Either it's beach handball or indoor, I'm always in the court.
Yeah.
And it feels better for me because I don't have time to worry. Everything is on me and my team when I'm there. But now that I had to cheer for them from the stands, I was so nervous. I couldn't look. I was screaming all the time. Probably almost like having a little bit of fights with a few like Hungarian fans around me. I was alone in there. I gave my all to cheer for them, and my voice now, I'm like trying just for you to speak a little bit. But then I promised to myself that 2 days I will not open my mouth to say a word. Like my voice is not okay now.
You should have told me that before, but it sounds great. We'll try and keep it nice and quiet here. We're in actually a really nice setting to do that. It's not too loud at the moment. But yeah, you were seeing that from the sideline, and I spotted you as I think you had the score to really have the lead, and you had your head in the shoulder of one of the staff members, not quite literally not able to look, but a great win for your team, and for you coming back to this team. Like, how has it been the last couple of weeks, kind of rediscovering beach handball?
Exactly like that. And the girls are always so helpful, and they can understand that I'm not like the same that I was before due to my injuries. And also, like, last time I played beach handball was, as we said, like 10 plus years ago, and there's a lot of things that changed. Also, I was never a defensive player, and now I am. But there's a lot of information for me. But I can say that I'm proud for that. Like, I can catch everything pretty fast. And I'm always open to my teammates and to my coaches to give me suggestions. I'm also this kind of person that wants to ask and wants to learn things. And all the girls believe in me. And even like right now, they all wanted me to be there and play, and they recognize that I could help them like that.
That is a very unique perspective to come back after so long. And as you said, the sport, a lot of people's eyes, for those who've been a part of it, has changed a lot over the last 10 years. You're getting now generations of players who have been playing since they were kids, instead of people who, like probably 10 years ago, and it's still the case, people coming from handball to then try beach handball and discover it. But you have these native players almost.
Yeah.
Like how is that, from that perspective, how has that been for you? What are the big differences you've noticed since coming back to the sport?
I didn't play too much defense. Like back then, I was mostly like an offensive player. Now that I also play there, I realized that there's so many like tactic plays. I don't remember having so many tactic games like before, at least on defense. It was more like player less, so you need to, a little bit move, try to make them make a mistake or something. But now we have a lot of different tactics, and maybe it's not also only like generally in beach handball, but for me personally, the hard part was to try to difference my move, because I'm not the same player that I was before, so my mind cannot understand the difference.
Right.
So I need to run in a different way. I need to boost myself, like step on the sand in a different way, so I can spin or move, because like my knees are not the same, obviously. And for me, this is the hardest part, like actually trying to change the way I was playing before and the player I was, and try to make it a little bit different so I can be also good here.
What was the kind of turning point for you to decide that you wanted to play again? Because you mentioned all the terrible injury problems, the fact that you can barely train at the moment, but like there must have been something that said to you like, okay, let's give it one more try.
One of these things was like before all these years ago, with all my knees and the injuries, like I was not in a good state of mind, and like depression and sad things, and I went through all these stages for a long time. And my last memory of beach handball was having fun and enjoying it, and being able to be with like teammates that I didn't have when I was playing, because we're in different teams.
Yeah.
And I have missed this feeling. And also, like, to be honest, Greece as a team in beach handball, they are doing so great the past years. And you can see like they're getting better and better and better, and they won world championships and qualifications. And I can feel like it's different when I'm playing beach handball and indoor, because I mean, I don't know how, I don't want to someone misunderstand me, but I mean, like here we are like a bigger problem, like indoor, and coming from a country that usually everyone underestimates us. It's like good having this feeling like, you know what? We are one of the good teams. Like, we can do it. Of course, it's beach handball. One day you can lose, one day you can win. But still, we are one team that everyone counts and everyone thinks about and wants to win. And I wanted to have also this feeling.
Yeah, that's a beautiful answer, honestly. I mean, I can see it in your eyes as you speak about it. You mentioned that this team has won the World Championship not so long ago, but there's still some players there as well. Magda in goal has been a constant throughout these years, but a lot of young players coming into the team as well, which is quite exciting. But I guess that brings some challenges as well, like bringing these generations together.
Yeah, of course. We have a lot of talent in the team, and all the young girls, they have skills. They're good in what they're doing. Personally, I think the only thing that they are lacking are like a psychology boost. They get nervous, they get anxious, and especially if they're like important shootouts or important games, important moments, and they want someone to calm them down. They want someone like to make them like, it's okay, like do your thing. But I think this will get better and better because they are also getting better, and then they will slowly start to believe more in themselves. And hopefully we will see that in the court the next years.
It's such a learning, like a lesson for them that they're
Yes.
learning day after day, and beach handball offers that in a way that you don't see in other sports, particularly with things like shootouts or in 4 against 4. Nobody can hide on the court. You are exposed, but you also have a chance to shine throughout the games. And I guess to have these young players experience this now and have some positive experience as well in shootouts like they're having must be really good for the future.
Of course, they're like great, all the experiences, but I can still see it in their eyes. And especially now that I was out and I was looking at them and they were looking at me, they were like, I'm so nervous. I was trying to calm them down, like, it's okay, it's one shootout, You've done it so many times. You can do it. You have a good shot, you have a good spin. Like, calm down, do it. Someone will miss it. If it will happen, it will happen, You cannot think about it from before, then it will kill your mind. I think we will work on that also, like we get experiences from every game, for every tournament, and it will only get better for us.
Do you have, you've played against a lot of the teams here who are in the deep end of this competition now. Anyone has really impressed you in the way that they've played, or that, like, compared to 10 years ago, you see them and you say, I can't believe this is the sport?
Now, I will be honest, the Netherlands,
Yeah.
they're great. They're fast, they're strong, they jump high, their spin shots are insane. It's also insane that they have the 2 top scorers in the tournament from the same team. And it's like 15 plus goals more from the third. I mean, it's also like the way of their game, because they're fast, they do more offensive plays, so of course they have more shots, but I think they're a pretty good team.
And now that you've had this experience, you've come back and it's been overall, I think, very successful. You're healthy, you're able to run around still, and the team is doing well. Do you feel inspired to push harder and see what you can achieve?
Actually, when we lost yesterday from Germany, the only thing I said, I was like, it's okay. I can wait 10 months. It's okay. Like, now I'm locked in, now that I had this feeling again. Now I will be locked in, and I hope next summer we will all be healthy and back here again. I mean, in what country it will be, in which country. And we will do our best. And I really want to help my team even more. I want to have again like a medal or games like top 5 teams, 4. I want to also have this feeling again.
Yeah. Well, it's great to see that passion in your eyes. Great that you shared your voice with us and you said
Thank you so much. Me too.
We're joined courtside here, lovely Alanya, by Liam Harrison. Liam, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Recovered, ready for tonight's game. So
Yeah, it's day 4 for you guys. Malta in your first beach handball Euro in very special conditions, I would say, in the heat here. But I guess that's something you're used to down in Malta as well, right?
exactly. I mean, for us, it's not really a disadvantage. I think sometimes it could be a bit of an advantage because we're used to the heat. So try to make the best use of it. However, it does take a toll on you as well physically. So playing day in, day out in this heat does take a good physical toll on you.
I think for people who are watching this tournament would have been pleasantly surprised, I think, to see Malta at this championship. First, senior championship for the team. You had the second tier competition last year to qualify for this. Can you tell me a little bit about how the journey has been to get to this point even?
So it's been a very long process. As a national team, I think it was around 10 years ago. We participated in the first Mediterranean Beach Games, Pascara 2015. I was not part of that team back then. And then since then we participated in another 2 editions of the Med Games. Last year we had the Euro qualifiers, and now we're finally here. So I think the journey has been great. We obviously have a lot to improve, as you can see from our performance, from the results we're getting, but we did come a long way as well. We lost some players, we got some new players. So we're looking forward to continue this journey ahead, and hopefully in the next years be here again get some results as we are aiming to do these coming 3 days, and continue improving from there and put Malta on the list for beach handball.
You mentioned the results there. Like, what was the target coming into this for the team? Because I guess there's a lot of unknowns. You may have come up against some of these teams in one way or another last year, or in your preparation for this, but at a championship like this, it feels like it goes to a whole other level. So what are the targets that you came into?
So as people saw from the group stage, we were drawn in a very difficult group, most probably the toughest group. So we had Poland, Croatia and Denmark, who are the 2 world champion finalists, and Poland were the European champions last edition, I believe. So this was a very tough group. We were realistic about it and saying that those will be tough games, but we gave it our best. With a very close second set against Poland, only lost by 2 or 3 points. So that was the game. We wanted to try and win a set, get to the shootout. But other than that, our target is to try and win 1 or 2 games in this consolation round. Win a set or 2, get to a shootout or 2. Our target is to get at least 1 win out of this, and from there hopefully keep pushing to get more results.
And how have you found now, it's day 4 of the competition you're playing this evening? Do you find it game after game that, I mean, you personally, maybe you can't say for the whole team, but for you personally, you feel like you're like belonging more and more every time, or like understanding the sport at this level?
No, for sure. Obviously, the more games we play, the better we're going to get automatically. Because I mean, that's the rule of practice. No, the more you do, the better you get at it if you do it well. So the more games we're playing from the first match up until yesterday, our performance for sure improved. Me personally as well, I'm playing a bit more defensively now. In the middle. So last year my role was a bit more offensively as a playmaker. This year we have more playmakers, so I can play a bit more defensively. For sure I'm getting the hang of it more as more games pass by. But we need to play more games together. So throughout the years in preparation for these tournaments, we need to be playing more games. We need to get more game experience. More experience making quick decisions with the ball in our hands, without the ball in our hands, moving defensively. So for sure we have improved these past 4 or 5 games, but we need more.
We had a short discussion there with Jacques, your teammate, about who was the tougher game, either Denmark or Croatia, and you both had your different opinions there. But like in general, what do you feel, what do you see is the big difference between like what you're used to playing at home or at a club level, and then coming up against these beasts at a European Championship?
So for sure, I believe the biggest difference is the ability to make decisions. So I think the quick decision making with the ball, we're actually having this discussion between ourselves, and we're like, because we feel like we are physically slower, but even though physically maybe we are a bit slower than the other teams, I think it comes a lot from the ability to make a decision quick. So if you're not able to take a quick decision, you need to physically slow down to have more time to make the decision. So I think that's why I said we need to play more games, we need to be exposed to the game more, to develop that ability to take quick decisions with the ball in our hands. So the playmakers, the special players, and anyone really with the ball in their hands need to take that quick decision so that we can keep the game flowing and we have the right opportunity to score.
It feels like at this championship we're seeing a lot of variety in the way the teams are playing as well, and you mentioned about the decision making seems to be the crucial thing, because physically every team is so different, right? You see teams like maybe Italy and Spain who have a bit more about the speed element. Portugal have a couple of big men in there, and then some teams rely on the almost the pure physicality, right? But there's many ways to kind of skin a cat in that regard. You can find solutions, and I guess for Malta and beach handball as well, this is like, in comparison to indoor, where for a national team maybe you need to develop 30-40 players to have a squad to compete. For beach handball you need 10-12 players and 4 who can attack really well, and then you can maybe start to break through. Is that kind of what you as a handball community have figured out and trying to put a bit more effort into the beach side?
Yes, of course. So obviously we know the limitation. We're not the tallest nation on earth, so physically that will be a challenge. However, I believe this year is one of the tallest teams we've had in the past few years in terms of size. But for sure we need to develop a bit more speed, a bit more game knowledge to try and beat the defense of the opposing teams in that way. But yes, as you mentioned, you don't need 30-40 players to develop a squad well. You need 10 players, 12, maybe 15 to be able to play in training. and from there we can really develop a good team over the coming years.
And how has it been the last couple of years in Malta with the sport? Like, have you found that players on the indoor side as well are taking some interest? I mean, this will obviously be a massive boost for the handball community to see you guys competing at a European championship. Do you think that will also attract a few more players, or maybe a bit more attention in Malta as well? Because outside of beach handball as a sport, the whole sporting, let's say, context in Malta, not too many teams qualify for a major championship like this. So I guess that will also hopefully bring in a bit of investment and attention for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully our younger athletes in our clubs will get inspired to start training with us for beach handball, take it more seriously. I mean, the reality is that if you really want something, you have to work for it, no? So we have worked for it to come this far. Obviously, it's not the end of the journey, so we have to keep on working. We need the young ones to step up. We are getting older. I mean, I'm not that old, but we are.
You're 27, right?
27.
Yeah.
I've had like 10 years. But we do need the young players to start playing from now, so that they can learn the game and be better than we are now in 10 years' time. So yeah, we need to step it up. Hopefully, this will be a boost for the handball community in general. We are improving, we are growing, but we need more work for sure.
Seeing this whole tournament so far, are there any particular teams that have really stood out for you? Any teams that you think will go really deep in this competition on the men's side?
I think from what I've seen, I think Croatia and Denmark are still two of the strongest teams. Italy have impressed me, to be honest. I think they just beat France this morning on shootout. They beat Sweden on shootout as well, who are two very strong teams. We saw them play last year. We played against France last year. There are some very strong teams. I think Spain, to be honest, I expected a bit more. But obviously, I mean, you can never say you have one bad set, you lose the match on shootout, you're unlucky. So, but I think Denmark and Croatia are two of the strongest teams for sure. Sweden are up there as well, I believe. Very, very good attacking four on the outside. Sweden, very efficient with the passing and making the right decisions as well. So we'll see. But I believe Denmark and Croatia are the strongest teams.
Lovely. Liam Harrison, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good
It was
luck
a
for the
pleasure
rest
to
of the
see you
tournament.
again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, I think for the second time we've had you on the podcast, Gabby Horvath, who's here as, I guess, your main responsibility with the EHF as the main representative here at the Beach Europe, also a Hungarian beach handball expert and friend of the show as well. It's day 4 of the senior championship. You've been here since the youth as well, though, so you've been a long time in Alanya. How are you enjoying it?
I really like it. We have great weather, and also I think the Turkish Federation created a really nice venue for the competition, so we very much enjoy being here. And it was a lot of fun to watch the kids playing beach handball. I think it's really, really entertaining, and it's really nice to see how they are developing the sport and themselves, all the skillfulness and tactics and physical preparedness. The game is really, really entertaining, so I enjoyed it a lot. And now we are in a senior competition. This is always really exciting. And now we are ahead of the quarterfinals, so so we'll see.
Stick with the youth for a minute, because you mentioned there how well they're playing, and there's a few people I've spoken to who haven't been to a Beach Euro in a few years, either players or people who are working at it, who have maybe been away from like the sport at its closest level in maybe 4, 5, 6 years, and they were really kind of shocked to see the level. But I think now, really, since maybe Bulgaria 4 years ago, like you're seeing when it comes to the semi-finals and the finals, the way that they're playing, it could be an adult team playing, and they probably could beat some of the weaker teams in the senior competition. It really feels like these beach handball natives are like redefining the sport. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I think it's fair to say that. I also very much like to see that those kids that we were, or those youth players that we saw in a couple of last competitions, they are now key players in the adult championship. And when you say we stick a little bit to the youth, I think it's very, very important to point out that it's really entertaining to watch them playing. And I think it's a great proof that we played in the packed arena.
Yeah.
So it was like 2,000 spectators coming to watch the final games of the youth, and well, I don't know if they could beat some of the weaker teams here, but I can assure that when we played adult, one of those first Euros and World Championships, these youth teams, they would teach us a big lesson on beach handball.
Yeah, I mean, you have been involved for so long as a player and going through all the different roles with the Hungarian Federation, with the European Handball Federation. What do you think the biggest changes now are that you see now in 2025 compared to when you were playing?
There's really a lot, but when we started the organization, the venues are, of course, the whole infrastructures and the venues are more reflecting what a European venue should be. I think that every element of the venue reflects that we take it serious and that we want to create a product out of it, and I see personally a great future in beach handball. So that's one of the things that where we are playing, it's also the technologies and the infrastructure are really great. And what concerns the game itself and the players' preparedness, now we see players that were beach handball players since they were kids. That means that they learn all these special elements and all the skills that is necessary to play entertaining beach handball when they were kids, and this makes all the difference. This is why, in my opinion, it would be so important that many coaches would see an opportunity in it, because it gives so much to all the handball players, also to their indoor skills. All the skillfulness, the mental preparation, what they learn in beach handball due to the shootout games and the two different halves, or also if we think about the physical preparedness, and I could name a lot of other things, I think it's really crucial. And the game is absolutely different because of this now.
For the sport as a whole, it's been an interesting few years. Like, the development of the skills is very clear to see. The development of the product, as you mentioned, particularly at a European level, is like very attractive. We saw last year there was the beach handball showcase at the Olympics and at the Maison du Handball in Paris, and we have beach handball as part of the World Games and as the Youth Olympics as well. Where do you think, like realistically, though, what are the next 5 years for the sport, both at a European and world level? What do you think needs to happen? What kind of objectives do you think are possible?
Well, I think that we have quite a few top competition already in beach handball. This is the Euro is a flagship event for us, but there's World Championship. As you said, we are on the World Games, the World Beach Games when it's organized, and on the yoga. I think it's important that we define this, and we also somehow align the calendar and make people aware. I mean the fans, the coaches, the handball enthusiastic. So we define our top products. And to be honest, I don't think that we should give up on our Olympic hopes. But at the same time, and this is something that I've been saying for a really, really long time, that beach handball can contribute so many ways to handball and to the sports society and to the federations, also on a sport professional level, but also what concerns social responsibility, or it can be a great product. It can be an access point for countries where handball is not big. It can contribute so many ways, and it's such an entertaining, exciting game that I think we have to focus on how to promote it, and we have to love it like this, and having the aim of the Olympics, still think about it as a fantastic opportunity for handball and for many countries, Europe-wise and globally as well.
Do you find like what after the showcase last year, and then I guess knowing that it wasn't going to be a part of LA in 2028, was there? I mean, from the sounds of it, you're very much focused on the sport in itself, and maybe the Olympics is that bonus that might come at some point, but the sport as itself doesn't strictly need that right now. Did you find the same with other people in the beach handball community, or was there a little bit of like, we put so much focus on this maybe getting to the Olympics that there's been a bit of a disappointment or a drop off?
Well, I think a lot of things what concerns the Olympics, because I've been always telling that for me beach handball has so much values regardless it's Olympic or not. But it's true that we define this as a name, and we talked about it a lot, as the IHF talked about it a lot. Also, it's almost in every interview the questions were around that. Then it comes that when we are not there, then we will get the questions, why not? And I think that, in my opinion, maybe because I'm so involved with the sport, but I always try to put the focus on the game and the development and all the job we still have to do. I'd love this to be an Olympic sport, of course I do, but I just so believe in the values that it can already give to the individual federations and all the handball society, that I think that first of all we should focus on all that and make people see these opportunities and believe in these opportunities. And I'm sure that when we do all the homework around all these nationally, internationally as well, then we will reach our aims in every level.
Yeah. On a European level, is there anything you would like to see in the next couple of years? I'm thinking also like, the club competitions and the Euro as the flagship events. There's been, you mentioned earlier, like a great setup here in Türkiye, also 2 years ago in Nazaré, and 4 years ago in Bulgaria as well, like proper beach side arenas, a beautiful setup. And it really seems to have taken the sport to another level in that regard. Do you have any destinations you would like to see the Euro in?
I'm very classical in it, because as a player I've always loved to be to the beach, to play beach handball, because I firmly believe this is where it belongs, to good weather and to beach. But of course as a sport professional and having the whole bigger image in front of me, of course it would be also really great to see it in some big capitals center, like was in Paris. Many of the competition venues were very iconic places, and to be honest, it was fantastic to see. So I could imagine in those as well. Primarily I believe in beaches, but I think it could be very good and interesting to bring it more to the urban environment and bring it to the people.
Yeah.
And but a specific geographic space, I prefer not to say.
And finally then, from what you've seen so far, we have the final weekend ahead. Any particular teams in the men and women's side that have really impressed you, that you've really, or even surprised you in how they've played?
Well, I mean, those that are in the quarterfinal, most of them I follow for a long time. There are some surprises, like the Italian men team arrived to the quarterfinals, and it was fun to watch them. But I'm a big fan also of the German female team, to watch them, how they really were game changer with some of the tactical things that they introduced very consciously to beach handball. It really changed the game. But I mean, these teams are all fantastic to watch, and it's, the good thing about beach handball, it's really, really unpredictable what's gonna happen. So if you ask me if I have any favorite to win, I don't have any favorite. I have all these teams, and we see them arriving. Of course, there are some all-time strongs, but it's really, really unpredictable, and it can stay interesting until the very last moment. So that's also another thing why I would encourage people to get to know it.
Yeah, I mean that group with is it Germany losing to Denmark and hammering Norway, who then beat Denmark, and Germany holding France to 9 points in one set, and then the same happening to them. It's been a real, teams are definitely learning from each other as well, we feel like, and there are less and less secrets between these teams as well, which is fun to see how it plays out over such a short time, because the teams know each other so well, the players know each other so well, so there can be no excuses, almost just who delivers on that moment in these weather conditions, which can be quite extreme as well. It's fun to see how the players adapt.
Yes, it truly is, and it always comes down a little bit also on the depth of the sand, especially in the female competition. So of course this is a difference between indoor and beach, that you always have to adapt to the weather conditions and the venue's condition, which makes it again exciting in my opinion. And what concerns the weather, beach handball still is a really, really young game, and I think we have to do our best to understand it more and more. And this is why in the YA competition we run a research studying how the heat impacts the performance of the players. And I firmly believe that we also need to study the game as much as we can, because we know a lot about indoor handball now. We see that all the sports are developing through scientific researches, their own sport. So I think I'm really proud that we could do this now, and we already see some connections. I'm really looking forward to read the outcome of it, because the more we understand the sport, the more data we have, the better prepared teams we will have in the future. So that's a good team. We're trying to do our homework also on research and understand the fundamentals of the game even deeper, so we can help the coaches and the player be even better prepared in the future.
Gabby Horvath, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. Thank you to Gabby, to Liam, to Labrina and Severin. Fantastic event overall. And with that, we're coming to the end of episode 299, and that means we have a big one coming up very, very shortly. We have it planned to record next week, episode 300. With nothing recorded yet, I'm not going to tell you anything, but we'll try and make it a little bit special and celebrate. And we have a very, very special guest coming on for that one as well, and we'll reveal that once it's all set in stone. Definitely one that will be enjoyable to listen to, that's for sure. But until then, everyone, join us on Patreon if you want to catch an additional episode each and every week through the Morning Club, as we're diving into the transfers that are happening at the moment and all the off-season fun in the handball world. Until the next time, take care and goodbye.